Good morning, everybody. This is Savah Rellcast, and welcome back to another episode of my Artsy Minecraft, where just about every day look at that. I build some stuff and show you how to build some stuff and just be generally creative. If you caught last night's broadcast, I was doing yet again another episode of this Minecraft house, where I go to other people's worlds and showcase their builds so people can get a peek into the minds of other Minecraft creators. And as the sun rises on Forgotten Earth, I am here on this monumentous build of mine. This thing is huge, and I am not yet done with it. But I have learned a lot about how mushrooms work in this game. Let's see, we're gonna need a spoon. I apparently have a giant blocked up bit of dirt. Let's see if I can do this. Ha! I did it! Boop, 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 boop. Ah! Well, thank goodness for water. Not too long ago, good morning, Larry! Not too morning ago, Larry. Hi, Larry. Not too long ago, I ended up getting a netherite hoe, finally, from my piggy traders. We did do a wrap-up on those piggy traders, didn't we? I think I did. But yeah, so this is the build that I've been working on, the mycelium island that I am currently turning into a tavern slash inn slash bar, something very D&D. Now, the outside of this thing looks very plain because I'm really not fleshing out doors, windows, balconies until I have a roof on and some walls in. And this is a type of art form in the voxel universe, the voxel art universe, that I enjoy doing, which is letting the terrain speak to me in a way that says, hey, this should be this. Oh, I landed on a tree. Okay, that's cool. I want to be over there. For instance, when I made Savah Rellcast, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking, Larry. How you doing? When I made Savah Rellcast, I made it out of a mountain. I picked a mountain on the landscape, sheared it away from the rest of the land, kind of like a peninsula style mountain. Right. I'm going to the piggy trading hall to see if I finished that up. And then I just let the mountain speak to me, and I built rooms, walls, shelves in accordance to how the terrain was. And that's something I love doing. I just like letting the landscape show me how it should go. And for some people that's an easy task, and for other people that's like an impossible task. For me, I like doing it. I enjoy looking at a piece of land and seeing the potential it has, and then it's like sculpting. I'm sculpting with a T in there somewhere. Let's see, I'm doing good. Just ate a couple slices of pizza. Ah, pizza! The za. Boop. I don't eat breakfast when I wake up in the morning. I have a big old glass of coffee and then just kind of get to doing this. Alright, so I wanted to wrap up by saying that doesn't work. That right there. I was hoping to bring a tick back at it, but that's not how observers work. But this thing here works really good. These guys are working perfectly. Yeah, after I do my broadcasts, I then usually make some sort of heavy protein, low carb sort of breakfast. Then I do a little editing, then I jump on the elliptical and work out, yada yada. Yeah, I gotta say, man, this quarantine's been the best for me. I absolutely love it. I hate the fact that America's been dumb about everything. And Maine is doing great. If you look at the stats, Maine is doing great. but the rest of the country is doing terribly poor, and I'm not going to stick my neck out, because at any minute one of those infected can come to Maine and just blow it all out of proportion. And Maine is having some problems with people not wearing masks and not adhering to the law. So eventually I'm sure it'll blow up at some point. So you know, I'm cautious about that. I've actually ended up unfriending people simply because I cannot tolerate I can't tolerate the bigotry. Can't do it. Like, Black Lives Matter, and if you don't understand that, I don't need to associate with you. LGBTQ lives matter, and if you don't get that, I don't need to associate with you. Wearing masks matter, and if you don't get that, I don't need that negativity in my life, man. We gotta care about each other. I know, it sounds like a dick thing to say, that everybody should care about one another, but damn it, we should all care about each other. It's us, not me. Alright, so if I'm correct, these all have... That's got a little gold. That's got a little gold. That's got... Am I really that low on gold? Boop. 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 Yeah, I already fleeced it from their chamber. But yeah, so this thing works in such a way where I have observers, and these observers, they're pointed at this. So when I hit this button, this gives off a redstone tick, which hits this one, basically, which gives off which is a change, which activates this, which gives off a redstone tick, which is gonna activate this. So, and then this system here was really simple. A little redstone there, piston there, redstone torch there, switch there, gilded block here. I hate having to use a gilded block for this, but that'll aggravate them and then they'll work. I understand. I care about everyone, even black and gay. Yeah, see, no, it doesn't hurt anybody to care about people. It really doesn't. It makes literally no sense to just be like, that person over there, I don't like how their hair looks. I hate them. What? And that's basically a generalization of anybody who's like, I don't like this person because of their skin color. I don't like this person because of their sexual orientation. I don't like this person because of their religion. It's like, dude, they ain't hurting you. Mind your own business. Ugh. So anyway, I'm gonna turn this thing on with this button. Okay, see now, you see how he's got his sword up? He doesn't have his crossbow up, but he's got his sword up. You should have your crossbow up. Whatever. So then you hit this button, and you can hear it go tick, 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 and then you do it again. And by now they're probably empty. Yeah, they're empty. I need more gold. Gotta start a gold farm. So then these guys got it. You hear them. You hear them? Oh, he's no longer angry. And when they're not angry, you can leave the room. If you leave the room while angry, the guys that are out here... Ow! See? See? See, the guys that are out here are going to be mad. I'm standing listening. That guy scared me. I wasn't wearing my gold helmet. That's why he aggroed on me. So, did you guys miss anything? No. Yep, everybody picked up the gold. Sounds good. And as you can see, this thing is working just fine. Ugh. Ow. Use your buttocks to break your fall. Use your buttocks. Well, thanks, Larry. My mama raised me right. Okay, that's another weird thing about me. When I was really little, like say 8, 9 years old, the impressionable little, my mom sat down with me and said, Holly K? Yeah, that's my real name, don't spread it. She said to me, What you do out in the world reflects on Mummy. That's exactly how she said it. This is how my mom speaks. What you do out in the world reflects on Mummy. If you don't behave, people are gonna think Mummy is a bad mom. That really stuck with me. And then it dawned later on as, you know, I got older and older, when people aren't good people, their parents failed them. Like, they had one job. Teach this person to be a good person. That's it. That's your job. You chose to have a kid. You had to bring them up. You got to turn them into a good person. That's your job. If someone turns out to not be a good person, then their parents failed. And it really just boils back down the line, like you are a product of your ancestors. What you just said about the buttocks cracked me up. Yeah, you know, I landed with my butt. I was like, boom, buttocks. You know, so it really, and it hit me. That is a factual science. Don't get me wrong. I know people who have seriously crappy parents and turned out to be better people despite that. And I do know people who have really nice parents and turned out to be shitbags anyway. There is an exception to every rule, trust. But for the most part, it's your parents' job to teach you not to be a racist bigot or homophobe or judgmental in any way, shape, or form, you know? And so, like, you are a reflection of your upbringing, and that's the other thing. Environment makes the person. Like, my dad is technically my stepdad, but I would never see him that way because he's the man who raised me. So, like, to me, my dad is my dad. He's not a stepdad. I mean, he is my stepdad, but I never saw him that way, ever. Because environment makes the person. You know, I became who I am because he was in my life. Because he took care of me. Because he influenced me. And that's what being raised is. It's just a series of influences. You know, like my grandmother helped raise me, and I know a lot of cool stuff because of her. And my mom raised me, sure, but my grandma also raised me, and my dad also raised me. You know, you're a product of your environment. And so it really does boil down to, like, when I see a person be a shitbag, first off I think to myself, man, that guy's a shitbag. But then I think to myself, wow, what kind of terrible upbringing must they have had to turn out to be a shitbag? Like, really? You know, and I feel bad for people who have bad parents. You know, I've met people who had bad parents who turned out to be decent human beings, and, you know, that is a testament of their own personal personality, that they were able to overcome the fact that they had terrible parents and endure. And I'm sure that stems from having some good influences in their life somewhere to show them why what they were going through was wrong. My mom raised me well as well, and my mom raised me, my sister, and my big brother all by herself. Yeah. But that means you had upper siblings, you know, you had siblings that helped influence your upbringing, and they're integral, you know, big sisters, big brothers, even sometimes little sisters and little brothers, depending on how mature they are. They have an influence in how you perceive the world, you know, like sometimes you'll have a very terrible sibling, like a very, very bad sibling. But that influence of having a bad sibling is an example for you to not be a bad person. Just like the people who have bad parents use that as an example to not be a bad person. You're the youngest, eh? I guess I'm technically a middle child, but I wasn't raised that way. Because when I was born, my mom and dad immediately divorced. Like, they separated, like, I was just, like, a week or two old, and they separated. And, I have older siblings from my biological father, but I never knew them. I never met them until I was, like, in my mid-20s. So when my mom had my little sister, I became a big sister, never really experiencing being a little sister. Though I am technically a little sister. I'm also technically a big sister to my little brother, Michael, whom I never met until I was like 28, 29, almost 30. I met Michael. I knew he existed, but the narrative my mom gave me was that my biological father didn't want daughters. And I can see why she thought this, because his first marriage... Oh, alright. Let me tell you, my biological dad was a total gigolo. Like, he went through 3 high school friends. There were these 3 high school friends, my mom, a woman named Donna, and a woman named Sandy. And they were all buds from high school. And my biological dad is older than all 3 of these women by like 6 years. So first he dates Donna, and he has 3 children with Donna. He has my sister Helen, and then he has a set of twins who died very young. And because he showed no emotion about losing 2 daughters, his wife Donna divorced him because he was a cold and heartless jerk. You know, falling prey to the whole men shouldn't show feelings nonsense. So then he fell for my mom, the other friend in the group. And then he started dating my mom. I have no idea how Donna felt about that one. And so then he had me with my mom, but my mom believes he left because I was a girl and not a boy. So I grew up with the understanding that because I was not a boy child, I ruined their marriage. So then he went with the last friend, Sandy, and Sandy gave birth to Michael, who was a preemie, which made my mother believe he was cheating on her, which he wasn't. Michael was born 2 months early. He did get with Sandy right after dumping my mom, but yeah, that's a thing. And so my mom thinks, or thought, that he stuck with Sandy because she gave him a boy child. And that's why I spent my entire childhood thinking that my biological father abandoned us because I wasn't a boy. There you go. There's some fun, messed up soap opera family nonsense for you. But you know, I've gotten to meet my siblings after that, and it's actually kind of neat randomly meeting siblings, you know, in your mid to late 20s, being like, hey, I heard you existed, but you know, there was a whole side of my family I never got to know until my mid 20s because my mom pretty much just hid me away, and I don't blame her. I honestly don't, because that was some real foobar stuff. And when I finally met my biological father and, you know, made nice with him, made peace with him, he kept saying, oh, I'm sorry I wasn't around, I'm sorry I wasn't around. I was like, dude, I'm glad you weren't around. I wouldn't have been able to become me if you were influencing me. It was like, I had an awesome dad. I didn't need you. You know, I was like, straight up, I didn't need you. See, my biological dad is still a total shitbag, and I never want to talk to him after what he did to me when I was still in diapers. Oof, rough. That's rough, buddy. Yeah. Sorry, man. Biological dads can be the worst. You know, we gotta change that narrative about how dads work. That's really important. You know, I'm on a few forums, and we often talk about, you know, men, the masculinity, and the societal problem of expectation. Like, men should not be expected to be cold, heartless, soulless work machines. That's an unhealthy narrative that our country has had for far too long. You know, it should be a lot of love and a lot of acceptance and a lot of understanding and recognition that, you know, men are human. Men are people. We need to treat them like that. We need to treat them like they're human beings. It's, you know, like, Larry, you're allowed to have feelings. And, you know, express them. Express them all you want, darling, because that's an important thing to do. And the thing is men who express their feelings pave the way for the younger generation to be able to express their feelings. You lead by example. Yeah, he hit me directly in the sternum and the chest, which caused me to stop breathing, and my mom divorced him afterwards. Oh, good. Good. She's smart mom. She a good mama. That's the smart. Mama don't let nobody hit their babies. I really gotta turn this into an actual floor. Hooey! And then that goes up there, and I gotta get all of this. I gotta pull it all down. But, yeah, you know, I mean, it's funny how these little Minecraft sessions become life lessons. You're sitting there talking about life's lessons. You know, so, and here's the thing, because I said there are people in this world whose parents abused them and they still turned out to be good individuals in the end. A narrative to that is perhaps the fact that, you know, in high school, I was bullied. I was bullied because I was a white kid. I was bullied because I was a white kid because I went to a primarily non-white school, because I lived in a city which had a heavy mix of individuals, and I was bullied for being white. I actually have zero grudges about it, and I fully understand why they were taking out their misled aggressions on me, and I wish them no ill. I mean, I remember my bullies' names, don't get me wrong, and they sucked, but that doesn't wax the narrative to how I'm going to treat everybody of that specific nationality or skin color. That, you know, just because someone bullied you doesn't give you the excuse to be a bully. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. And that's the narrative, you know. Who don't understand how important it is to put equality in our world are scared. They're scared. They don't want to be treated the way the people they're treating is being treated, like, and there's no excuse for that. Yeah, so that's why a lot of my friends see me as super caring guy who expresses his feelings. You are, Larry. I have noticed that about you. You know, sometimes you come off a little strong in that respect. You know, sometimes you're just so heavily in that to be kind, or in that to be caring or supportive, that it can, at first, when you don't know you, be like, whoa, this guy comes on strong, this guy's this, whoa. But then, you know, just when you give it time, like I gave it time, when you give it time, you're just like, oh, that's just how he is. He's just like that, you know. He's just the kind of person who does these kinds of things, who takes an interest in their friends' lives and is supportive of their ambitions and just cares. He just cares, you know. Because I remember when we started having conversations on Facebook and stuff, people would be like, "Who's this guy? Who's this guy who keeps on talking to you?" And I'm like, "He's just a friend, you know." And then they're like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? That's all it takes. It's like, you know, it just takes one person to be like, "Hey, I vouch for this person. They're not a jerk." And then it changes the whole narrative. Problem is our society is in such a way that a lot of times you need someone else to say, "Hey, yeah, I've experienced that this individual is not a jerk." But then again, that doesn't always work. Because, you know, I've had people be like, "Oh, you'd love my friend so-and-so," and then, like, a year later, so-and-so stabs you in the back. And you're like, yeah, I loved them so much. Turned out they were a psychotic, self-serving jerk face. So, you know, it's one of those things where you have to experience people for who they are firsthand to get an idea of where you stand with them. I'm not saying people shouldn't be cautious. I'm just saying people should try and give others the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, so my husband's been watching a lot of Star Trek The Next Generation, which is great. It's one of my favorite series. I've seen it a million times. I'm not even joking. I used to binge 3 hours a day of Star Trek, and that was before the internet. Okay, there were 2 separate channels that played The Next Generation, and I would watch it religiously. Seriously. Without fail. And so he's been watching it, and there's this scene where Riker is talking to Data about being human. That Tasha Yar's sister came onto the ship and was like, you know, I'm Tasha Yar's sister, and there's this rebellious faction from the planet I'm on, and, you know, she wanted them to help her, but she wasn't being honest about it. She basically manipulated them into believing that she was, oh, woe is me, kind of thing. And a couple of the Federation's people were trapped in a cell underground, and she pretty much told Data that, you know, she wanted to be his friend and all this other stuff, and then she stabs them all in the back. And Picard randomly lets her go home, which is like, what? Picard, I'd have thrown her in the clink. But at the end of it, Data's sitting there with Riker. And can he do the Spock hand thing with his hands? Yeah, so that's why a lot of my... Oh, yeah. What? Oh. What? Spock? Who can do the Spock thing? Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, dude. So Data's talking to Riker about trust. This is why I love watching Star Trek. Everybody should watch Star Trek. He starts talking to Riker about trust, saying that, you know, he believed her, that, you know, he had grown accustomed to her presence and wanted her to be around, and, you know, being an android, he couldn't fully be hurt by her actions, you know, that he was spared the trauma of emotion and feelings. But, you know, and Riker took that in stride. But at the end of it all, Riker's like, no, you gotta keep trusting people. And he's like, and Data's like, even though you're gonna get hurt. And Riker's like, yeah, even though you're probably gonna get hurt, you need to continue trusting people, because doing so is part of the human experience. And like, I needed to hear that, you know, because I have had such a hard time with being stabbed in the back by people I care about, that it has made me grow a little cold over the years. You know, it has made me not want to try to be friends with people, afraid of people, untrusting of people. Because every time I put my heart out there, someone screws me over. I'm getting tired of it. So, but listening to Riker and Data talk about the human experience and that it's important to put yourself out there to be hurt, it was beautiful. You know, it was a friendly reminder of what it means to be human. And it's important to be human. You know, a lot of times we hate on we human beings hate on human beings for being human beings. That's a lot of human beings. Come from? I heard a drowner. I hear him. You stay outside, mister. But here's the thing. When you play D&D as often as I do, you learn that, you know, that was creepy. That was a creepy one. You know, humans have the better options in D&D. I thought you said you played Skyrim the other day. I don't know, man. Go back 3 episodes. I'm pretty sure you played Skyrim. The human experience is what I'm talking about. And, what was I saying? D&D. In D&D, there are all these crazy cool races, right? You can be a dragonborn, you can be a tiefling, halfling, gnome, goblin, whatever. But the thing of the matter is human is the jack of all trades. In D&D, human is the one that allows you to be whatever you want to be without question, without limitations. And I find that extremely interesting that, you know, and the props have to go to TSR because they're the ones who did it first. I keep hearing a drowner. I really keep hearing a drowner. Oh gosh, my half hour. This is easy. This is easy to just do this for a half an hour. But yeah, so TSR made it so human beings were the one race that can literally have any power in the whole entire game. I really shouldn't be wearing my helmet. It'll get broken. Any power in the whole game. Human beings are not limited in Dungeons and Dragons. And that actually speaks volumes because it's actually kind of a truth. We are capable of so much amazing good. We are capable of so much amazing evil. And it's a strange balance that we have going on. And right now, that balance is not tipping it's not tipping towards good, that's for darn sure. So we're going to need a swing. There's going to be a change. And there's been some crazy, phenomenal, magical things happening in our world right now, both scary and beautiful, benign. Like, it's been wild. So keep your eyes peeled, people, and remember to pay attention to your environment. I think that's an important message that I can give out today. Pay attention to your environment because your environment makes you. And if you are feeling like you are in a toxic environment, it is your responsibility to change that toxic environment. No one else can help you. You have to screw your courage to the sticking place, as Lady Macbeth would say, and make the change. And remember, you have the right to change. You have the right to take a path that leads you to a place of happiness. Expunge all the toxicity, get rid of the evil negativities. If it doesn't serve you, let it go and move forward in a positive direction. Like scary games like Alien Isolation. Oh yeah, Dead Space is one of my favorite games, and I beat Half-Life the original when it came out on PC. Like, that game was not cheap. And I spent many dark nights in my room by myself playing Half-Life, the original. So yeah, I love scary games. Okay, it's been 33 minutes and it's time for me to go make breakfast. I think I got a lot done. Look at that. Look how high up that roof is. Isn't that incredible? This place is going to look amazing when I'm done. But yeah, this is the current project, and you are always a work in progress. So be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to trust others. It's okay to fail. Fail often. Fail forward, as Will Smith would say. And take care of yourself. And each other. For cracking ice, wear a mask. Take care of each other. Oh, you stay gorgeous too, Larry, darling. I'll see you later. Tomorrow? Yes? See you all tomorrow in the next video? Alright. Take care now. Salutations. Bye-bye.